Magical. I don't know if he's a pirate anymore. He's still a pirate.
Still is.
He's still a pirate.
Still there.
Still going strong. You got your oranges, buddy. You've been out there for a long time. I would think I would start seeing, you know, like the chapped face features, like the.
Not if you stay hydrated.
Well, hey, I guess you're surrounded by water, so that's one thing. Really nice to get to talk to King a little bit, get a little bit more of his perspective on the rounding out of the split, and specifically getting to hear more so about the tactical Mia matchup, what it meant for him, kind of building up through that one, Joshi.
Does anybody know what the YB stands for in his Twitter handle? No.
Not off the top of my head.
Young blood? I don't know.
Do you know?
Young blood?
I'm just putting out.
I thought you were like leading us to something. Like you were like, oh, propping it up, and then
it's a legit question.
No, you're just Dr. Strange.
I just don't know.
And you just go with the multiverse of whatever happens. All right, well.
Is a legit question? I don't know what the YB stands for.
I don't know.
Your
I should ask him next time. He said we'll see you tomorrow, or I said we'll see him tomorrow. So at some point,
gotta
I have
interview
to
him
see
again if they win.
Yeah, absolutely. But next we do have Golden Guardians Academy going up against Dignitas Academy. This one's gonna be a fun one because on one half we have some interesting additions, but at least to start off the conversation, we do have an interesting addition on both ends to some extent. We got Dignitas coming in strong, and we also got Neo joining the table as Spawn will be moving up to LCS.
Woo! Let's go Spawn! He gets to play in
Spawn.
LCS. This is definitely one of the players that I was very excited to see coming into summer. He definitely had a lot of play in spring, but the amount of growth that he's starting to show me in the summer split has been ridiculous. And it's kind of the difference, right? I already know King is very good. I'm looking for that big level up like I feel like Spawn has already made. And there's a lot of discussions that we've had with players coming down from LCS as an expectation. Like, yes, they should just crush everybody that they are playing up against in Academy, but I'm gonna be real. I think Spawn's better than Neo.
Ooh, that's an interesting take. Like, I think Neo is still really good. If you recall, he used to go by the name Asta as well. Asta, however you want to say it. But he was still someone who was praised pretty well. I mean, granted, it was in the days when we saw a lot more Varus. We saw a lot more Ashe. Those were usually, like, his big power points. He's someone who's always been consistent. Always someone you can rely on. And so seeing this roster swap is probably maybe just beneficial for both sides. For Academy, grounding them just a little bit more, because we've seen sometimes XU Insanity go a little ham. I appreciate it, but sometimes gets them in trouble. And then we look at the LCS. Spawn is someone who has been popping off in lane. He's been incredibly powerful. He's got a lot of aggression that JJ had to learn to play around, and I think that's why he's starting to really thrive, is he's now had that synergy that worked out well with JJ. So seeing that on the LCS stage, I think will provide a lot of opportunities for Dignitas.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at some of that Neo B-roll and kind of look a little bit at this guy as we continue to talk.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me, right, is as Neo does have opportunities, he's not necessarily been the biggest pop-off player, right? He's just been very solid at most of the things that he's been able to do. Yeah, but when I look towards Dignitas, the biggest thing that I'm seeing is one. Just like TSM, they went from 4 developmental pieces down to just 1, really, and maybe Mia is like a secondary argument. But here, Dignitas is also going from one that had 3 to only having 2. Now you're looking at who? Now you're looking at XU as these players that Dignitas are really trying to develop. They feel confident that they developed Spawn enough to push him towards the next level, and now Neo needs to showcase that same kind of level of growth, right? We've had plenty of LCS players that come down, and it doesn't mean they can't make the click. It just means that we haven't seen it recently. Yeah,
exactly that. And on the other side, we do have, in all actuality, a crazy change. It's finally happening.
Finally happening.
Leader is finally here. The ticket had been purchased, finally arriving for the team. And I think it's a nice change, albeit very late in the season, for Golden Guardians to themselves have a piece to the puzzle as we kind of reminisce at what this guy brings to the table, Joshi.
Yeah, Leader is definitely very different from what we were seeing with Ryoma, with Choose. Leader is a melee champion specialist. His most played across his career, Akali, Irelia, Silas, Yasuo, Zed. Now, the question is going to be, These champions are in the current meta, right? The only one that you really see is Silas. Akali makes these appearances every now and then, but he really indexes on playing a lot of these melee champions, which puts him at a pretty stark contrast to all the mages we've been seeing in Academy.
Yeah, I mean, when I casted leader back in 2020 for European Masters, this was a player who plays incredibly aggressively in mid lane, loves to play more the melees, the assassin-type champions, but he also is really good at playing side lanes. You'll usually see him kind of on his own on an island, making outplays that way. Like right here, he's just set up to be by himself. He had a little bit of help, but didn't expect the Goon Squad to show up, and still was able to make it out alive with getting a kill, making it even, 1-for-1. And these are kind of the plays that we should expect, the flanks from leader, how he wants to play around knowing that his opponent always has to match him, but really can't.
And so we're looking at this squad now, right, where you have both Concept and Leader, and it says to me they're looking to not side lane Concept nearly as much. It's going to be much more focused on their mid lane going off to a side. And so that creates an interesting situation where maybe Golden Guardians, despite the fact that I imagine this is going to be a level up, especially from, you know, Choose, who was previously their coach, and thank you, Choose, for filling in for as long as you have. But Choose wasn't able to perform necessarily at the Academy. He hasn't been a pro player in years. He's been a coach. And so now that Leader comes in, he's going to have to showcase that he's able to adapt to this meta, or that he's just so much better that it doesn't matter if he's not playing the peak of the meta.
True. We apparently lost our pirate. By the way, he's got off of the ship.
It was itchy.
Anyways,
it was sweaty. You know how hot it is here?
Yeah. But we got to talk about, speaking of hot, the hot stuff here. It's all about team fighting, and especially kind of taking a deep dive into specifically looking at Insanity and then Concept as well, Magical.
I mean, I think that's why we want to talk about it, is because how we were just mentioning, how Leader likes to play. Likes to play for the sidelines, likes to be matched that way. But Dignitas, especially with Insanity, he is more for playing with his team, playing around them. Like right there, how he's able to survive and then fight back afterwards and make these incredible plays that keep the fights going consistently, so his team are the ones set up for victory. This is what we've seen a lot out of Insanity throughout this split, and even back when we saw him in Amateur in the previous split. This is why he kind of got on the radar, right?
Yeah.
It's because he played these team fights just so excellently.
And you look at the champions that Insanity brings to the table as the ones that he tends to play. His most played this split have been Azir, Corki, and Swain. All of these characters love being in the thick of it. All of these characters are there to kind of set things up, create a lot of pressure across the team fight, but they're not necessarily going to be diving in. You want to be hitting 2-3 people most of the time with these characters. And so Insanity, now it's stark contrast to all the melee champions that Leader wants to do. He wants to isolate individual targets and beat them up. And looking at how they've been able to play, I mean, we haven't seen Leader play at all in summer. It's been a while since we last saw him. In fact, the last time that we saw Leader play, he was playing for Vitality in 2021.
Right. And that's why I think I'm so curious to see how he's going to really fit in with Golden Guardians, because as you saw there, Concept, as a top laner, is far more about playing with the team. He likes to be the big beefy dude who's in the front line, the Mundos, his Urgod. Right there you saw his Ornn play as well, and how that... That's only the way to say it. There's no other way. It's Urgod. And so we see how he was able to play around like a lot more of the team fighting capabilities. It's interesting to see having someone like Leader, who is far more about split pushing, who's far more about the flank angles he can look for.
Well, guess what? We about to find out how this day is going to pan out for both Neo and Leader, as Champ Select is ready to go for a final series of the day, the kickoff of the first game. Joshi, Magical, take it away.
Bye, Lennon.
Thank you, Lennon. We're getting ready for our pretty pivotal match for Golden Guardians Academy. Being 5-21 in the standings. Having, I think, only one best-of-2 victory where they got a 2-0, and that being weeks and weeks ago.
I think it's TSM, who, let's be real, was not having a good series.
No, so this is where we look at Golden Guardians. They were able to get a win off of a Team Liquid Academy last week. They were able to make that a 1-1 split, which is impressive. Being Team Liquid Honda, one of our strongest teams that we have in Academy so far. But now they got to still prove they can do that against a team like Dignitas Academy, who have been this flashy team, this fun to watch, energetic team fight, all balls to the walls, all over the place.
Okay. I'm trying to decide if this is confidence or not coming through for Golden Guardians, right? They instantly lock in probably the best champion that Leader plays in terms of the meta right now. The Sylas gets locked in, and this is a gauntlet being thrown. This is as comfortable as you can get. And so this is the test, right? I was looking at this to come in for Golden Guardians Leader and for Dignitas Neo, and I'm expecting them to land okay. Right? I'm not expecting either of them to look incredibly strong, but Leader, he now has his most comfortable champion. If he doesn't perform on this, it says a lot about what we can expect from Golden Guardians and Leader going into the rest of the season.
So I will say, I want to temper our discussion on that, purely because I think the reason you picked this is for the flex. It's concept, and sure, it's not necessarily in his wheelhouse that we've really seen. We know the concept champ pool. We know how he likes to play. Well, that's
he has the most unique champs of anybody in this
right,
split.
and that's what I'm trying to set up, is that he's still someone who could definitely pull this out and play it as you get the bot lane of Jinx and a Nautilus up against that of Aphelios.
Yeah, and Prismal, I mean, again, he has recently lane swapped from the marksman AD carry position to the support role. This is his first time bringing out the Nautilus in the summer split in Academy, but of course, this Jinx is also not something that has been nearly as popular in summer. So Golden Guardians, they're really leaning back on some of their most comfortable champions.
Right.
They're not necessarily trying to rock the boat, and as they go into the map, once again, Insanity with a counter pick, the Vex coming through. I think this is the first time we've actually seen it in Academy.
We've seen it hovered a couple times, but we've never had it locked in. At least none that I think you and I have casted together. But
yeah,
this is, like you said, it's an Insanity special. He has a lot of these different champions, very unique styles. The Vel'Koz was one of the big ones that really took us off guard and how he was able to play that. And having Insanity pick Vex into what we're assuming is going to be that Sylas matchup is really difficult for Sylas to really pilot around it, trying to clear out the farm and then go split push or go try to make plays elsewhere.
Yeah. And we are seeing that it has been played once by Soligo, is what it's looking like coming through. So it's not something that has been particularly prominent in the meta thus far, but it does a decent job, right? You just have this great get off me tool, just like, please stop hitting me, here's a fear, please leave. So Dignitas, they not only have given Insanity this great flanking tool, but they also give him a relatively safe lane to play around. And so Dignitas, I like their draft thus far. They have plenty of damage. Now they need to create more space for the Aphelios. This can be done with enchanters, this can be done with even more engage, this can be done with the Braum. They have a lot of tools. They just need to keep Insanity and Neo in a position where they can actually hit.
I actually do like that. I like the Braum pick a lot. It really works out well with having Diego.
It's great into Nautilus.
It's great into Nautilus. There's so many reasons to draft this, and now we have, I mean, I'm not going to say it's an exciting bot lane, but at least it's something that is unique.
Yeah. And one interesting thing now, I do know that Sylas's stealing of the ultimate counts as a projectile. It does get blocked by things like Wind Wall.
It does.
But I've
learned that the hard way.
Does it take Braum's ultimate?
It can still take Braum's ultimate.
Okay, but what if you can't do it because it's too low of a cooldown?
What do you mean?
I don't know how that interaction works, right? So let's say you're trying to take Vex's ultimate, and Braum gets in the way. He blocks the projectile. Do you get Braum's ultimate even if you've taken Braum's ultimate recently?
No. You take it doesn't work the same way with that. It is a projectile, but it's a really weird projectile.
It's a weird projectile? Okay,
I
it's
mean,
definitely
like,
one of those. Oh, the Gangplank's here. Get the hat back.
Oh, I just got out of the outfit. It was sweaty, and I was hot. I've got this long sleeve on with the long sleeve tunic.
We'll forgive you.
The vest
too.
We'll
forgive you this time. We'll forgive you this time. But let's focus back in on what's actually going through, because I don't expect the Sylas Braum to interact more than maybe once or twice this entire game, especially in that way. But we do have a very stock standard composition from Golden Guardians, right? Concept on the Gangplank, been mildly counterpicked by Hoon, who has played this Gnar before as well. But it's interesting to me that Concept is now going back towards the Gangplank. It has been his second most played so far in summer, and now he's one of the big players that needs to create space for Array to hit.
He's got to create a lot of space and really be a part of these team fights, because those barrel combinations with Cannon Barrage can work out really well for creating that space against a team that, for the most part, wants to dive. You've got Gnar, you've got Viego, you've got Vex. I guess you got Aphelios. They all want to really dive into the backline and try to see if they can harass Array on Jinx. And when we look, you talk about Array on Jinx as well, being more of a comfort style. This is something we saw him really pop off and make that name. Why people started focusing on Array in spring was because how he's able to play a lot of these hyper carries.
Yeah. And so, with that said, I want to refocus back on our new players that have come back in, but let's have you take us onto the Rift.
Yeah, let's watch that first, and then we'll have you discuss it as we get ready for our first game between Golden Guardians Academy and Dignitas Academy. The new people, Neo and Leader. Exciting to see them both play. For Neo, it's about battling back, getting back towards that stage, proving that he is better than Spawn, while Leader, this is his first showing here in NA, having played his entire career in EU and making his mark there.
True. But looking at Neo coming in for Spawn, right, his real career in terms of, you know, where he went from being an amateur player towards playing at the higher levels started in 2019 with Optic Academy, right? He played for them for a little while. He played for Immortals Academy, and then he took a brief stint with First Blood Crusade and Mirage Esports in 2020. But since summer of 2020, where he got picked up by Dignitas Academy, he's been playing relatively consistently at the higher level, right? He only played one split with them before he started playing in spring 21 for Dignitas, where he's been ever since.
I forget, he was part of one of the scouting grounds, but I can't remember which one. I think it was...
That was a long time ago. I don't know off the top of my head. I didn't
Right.
write that one down, Magical.
Oh, I can't believe you've done this. How do you not
can't
have
believe it.
every single stat possible, Josh?
I don't have so much space on my paper.
Well, you can use the other side of the paper. Woo!
No.
Oh.
Could you imagine having to do that at the same time? But I can tell you where Leader played, right? He
Yeah.
was playing for Misfits at the various points. I think that he was playing on 3 different teams as like Misfits Academy. There was another third team that was also under the
Vitality.
Misfits banner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
played
think he
with
played for-
Vitality. And Misfits
Well, that's
Premier.
most recently.
Misfits Premier is what they...
Yeah, that's what it was called. And then he also played for Mouse Sports, which is honestly one of my favorite teams, but I didn't realize that they had a League of Legends team. I always knew them for like Counter-Strike.
Oh yeah, they've been a part of the European Masters scene for quite some time. And Leader was one of the big parts of that. Same with Selfmade. He played a lot with Selfmade before Selfmade moved up as well. So he's got a lot of experience with a lot of aggressive junglers. And that's why I'm curious to see how he's going to really form with Acadian. Someone who's been pretty tempered and how he really jungles and not necessarily going for the pop-off plays. When you have something like Trundle too, it's not like you're really capable of that.
Yeah, and I feel like Acadian has been one of these players that we've seen, and it feels as though he hasn't necessarily been very confident in his team's ability to follow up. And so I'm curious for Acadian, who I've said has gone for a lot of half measures thus far in the season, how well he's going to have that trigger pull. How well is he going to commit now that he has Leader, the intended mid laner, all along? Will that change his ability to play and actually go for these engages?
It'll be interesting to see. Right now, Leader is struggling in this lane a bit, as expected, but I like this play from XU. He's expecting Acadian to show up, so they make the play first, getting the flash away. A lot of damage with the pillar now, interrupting the back coming in from Insanity. It was a great read from XU.
But that's 2 flashes getting blown as
Exactly.
well, right? Acadian tries to go in, and we go right on back to farming. XU a little bit ahead, and Array,
Just taking a little bit of poke.
a little bit of poke, but so far, not a whole lot necessarily shaking out. Prismal using the window of crashing the previous wave to try and walk into the mid lane. Remember, Insanity does still have flash.
Does still have it available. There's going to be pillar, flash in. Wow, threading the needle right there, so the flash comes in from Insanity. Now it is equated mid lane.
Good hook coming through from Prismal, right? It needed to make sure it did not hit the pillar, and so Sanity's flash has been blown in exchange for a Prismal, but he does have Hex Flash, so overall, Golden Guardians already feeling a little bit more cohesive as they start looking for these plays, but nothing has necessarily materialized just quite yet. But it's still a better start than what they've had for almost the entire rest of summer.
I mean, a start to start, we just got to see them actually complete it now.
Yeah.
They were able to get that flash as in the mid lane. Now here's making sure that they can revisit in the mid lane from Dignitas. Looking for
No
Leader,
flash,
still
though.
alive. No flash available for either side, but the fact that Leader lives without that flash is impressive.
Well done. XU not quite landing the stun, but this is something that we also see from XU. I was looking at Shaden as well, right? One of these players that if you don't have a strong early game, you kind of peter out a lot of the time. And XU now trying to take away camps. He's going for a much more aggressive approach because he feels the need to try and make things happen. It's actually a lot like when I play with Rafa. He always looks for things. It feels like Rafa is definitely in the XU camp of let's always try and make things happening because you see XU has 4 camps of his own.
when playing against a Trundle as well, it makes sense to want to do that with Viego. Look for these early plays, try to see what you can make work. And the fact that they still have those 2 flashes so they were able to blow off Golden Guardians, to me, I like what XU is doing. I respect that he is consistently looking to see if he can punish those that lack a way to escape.
Yeah. But now he's got to make sure he actually clears out all of his camps, right? He takes the Raptors, he moves towards the bottom side of the map because there is a Dragon to potentially play for, and Golden Guardians are a little bit faster to the play. Prismal is still hanging out in the mid lane.
Prismal swap up from support, mid lane, what am I saying? ADC to support. So his mechanics right now is he's Hex flashing in, looking to see if he can defend his mid lane, but he's going to be stunned by the Spectral Mob with the return of the Dredge line. Now they've got to worry about JJ tagging the slow gust of blows onto Prismal with the stun, with the ignite. It's first blood picked up by Insanity. While Leader and Acadian, they try to fight back valiantly, but there's too much damage on the other side, so they can get a kill for the stolen Nautilus. XU, make sure he gets one into return.
Yo, I hope I get a replay of that, because I'm pretty sure Acadian trolled the crap out of Prismal in that play, but Braum, so good, right? We love seeing this into the Nautilus. It creates so much space, and Nautilus just can't get out once you go in. So XU and JJ reading the play beautifully and preventing Insanity from going down, and they reward themselves with a Hextech Dragon.
Hextech Dragon, 2 kills to their name, 1
They
for
do,
mid
right?
lane, 1 for...
Okay, yes.
There's no way they lost side. Even here with the Cannon Barrage committed, they are low on health, but look at how far back Array and Prismal were. So unless they were able to flash forward, do something spicy, or maybe see if they can get Dignitas, who did not retreat fully off guard. What were you doing, Dig?
All right, Dig. All right, you know, you had a couple of good plays. Acadian not going too far there, and they are going to have to give up their blue buff and probably their Gromp as well, but XU's sticking around. Sandy has ultimate.
Oh, now it's XU.
Ah.
XU's got the damage on Acadian, but now the pull back in. What is going on right now, Josh? We got 1 kill stolen away the soul. There will be 2 for 1 at the moment with Leader, possibly being the 3rd to die.
Both these teams are just here to fight, man. They are just ready to throw hands at all points, but it is Dignitas that are coming out very far ahead. 2 kills, 3 assists, 100% kill participation for Insanity, 100% kill participation for XU, and Concept, he used that Cannon Barrage. Notice how far down he is going up against Hoon. Hoon has absolutely been crushing this top lane.
He has been, and you know, I just want to mention this before I forget. When you're like, they just want to fight. Did you ever watch Gravity Falls?
No, not really.
You should watch it, because there's one scene where it's amazing. One of the characters, he's watching TV, and it starts off with a fight, like a boxing fight. Then it goes over to animals, and he's like, fight, fight, fight. Then it goes over to baby fights, and he's still yelling, fight, fight, fight. And I feel like that's how I felt this whole time. Yes, fight, fight, fight. Yeah, yeah, get him. Go get him.
Get him, boy. And Neo picks up a couple of kills as well on the backside of that, right? Dignitas coming out pretty far ahead for the most part. Now 2,000 gold up. And I don't feel as though Neo has necessarily been doing anything impressive, but standing in the right place at the right time. Dignitas punishing Golden Guardians for their over-aggression. And now XU spotting out where Acadian is on the ward. We might get another 3v3, but Prismal is here before JJ.
I'm gonna pull the point I was going to make about Neo for now, because like you said, with Hoon being Mega, could be a possible fight. XU and Insanity are on the other side, but Prismal, notice there's their rotation, so they will peel back just a little bit. Spider-Man away from Prismal. Still, the reset hasn't, there it is. Going to be the reset on to Shelly. And now both sides continue to dance around this neutral objective.
Yeah, and who doesn't have any rage? It will take him a while to build it up, and so Dignitas back up a little bit, but Array, once again, not coming towards the top side, is going to get a plate off the bottom lane turret. And Golden Guardians, they seem a bit skittish.
I can't say I blame them. They know that right now, Insanity has priority in mid as well as Hoon in top. They've got a level advantage as well between Hoon and Concept. Hoon's been doing a good job of shoving these waves consistently. Leader, he's gotten the stolen ult away. They're going to be able to spot out. The Shelly is down low. Now can they jump on Hoon, who goes away with the Mega.
Fear?
They follow up with a huge fear from Insanity, but a huge Noro comes in from Leader. They've turned around 1 for 1 at the moment. They got Concept. The flash coming in from Hoon. Can they continue to chase this down? They look to see if they can let their victims go, but they are not done. Dignitas still want to contest a round of this Rift Herald. It is so low. Acadian is so low himself. That fear is up. The smite secured for Acadian, but can they pick up the eye afterwards? They got a lot of damage. The pull back in. Prismal out of nowhere might be able to RKO him, but it's Insanity who gets a rampage for himself. Ball Leader picking up the eye, knowing he'll die.
And Dignitas, even though they don't get the Rift Herald, they are still ahead. 4,000 gold lead starting to come through for Dignitas. They are just out fighting an Insanity on this Vex, continuing to have 100% kill participation. It looked a little bit off kilter coming through for Dignitas, right? Watch how Hoon actually plays this. Dignitas unsure if they're going in or not. He instantly jumps out, but the rest of the team jumps in, right? Imagine if Hoon's ultimate was replaced for leaders. Suddenly, there's nothing for Golden Guardians to do. That little bit of a destroy means that this play not quite as clean, but Insanity not going to be deterred by that. Still goes in anyway, creates so much space, and getting the fear onto Acadian, forcing everybody to come right on back. JJ with a stopwatch keeps himself alive, but Insanity just continuously auto-attacking, making sure that with the red buff, nobody on Golden Guardians can leave.
I love it. I love it. Now he's got 10 stacks of Dark Seals and Insanity. Be insane like me, insane to the membrane. Magi's.
I mean, yeah.
No, you want to. You're 4-0-4. You might as well just upgrade that to the chapter, to the book. Give me the book.
Just go through, right? He's already got Eludens compared to Leader, who's still on components for the Everfrost. Look at the damage that he's able
This
to do.
matchup is so rough for a Leader.
I mean, this was the gauntlet getting thrown, right? This was the first pick coming through for Golden Guardians, and Leader is looking okay, right? But we don't know how much time he's had to scrim with the rest of Golden Guardians. We haven't seen them play with this guy before. This is pure comfort, and he still has plenty of time to showcase what he can do. But Insanity, so far, not allowing him to really play.
Insanity giving him the welcome basket into NA. Say, this is what you have to deal with now. You have to deal with me on Vex. Or that's a good pillar with the fear on top of the leader, but now he gets in with the Abscond Abductable. The Dragon's taken on one side, the Soul and Alt will make sure they get shut down gold for leader, and that's his answer back to the welcome basket.
That's a lot of gold coming through right now for leader. And as they pick up the kill in the mid lane, that is definitely something where Golden Guardians, they still have the Rift Herald. They're going to get at least 4 plates off this trap, probably the whole thing.
I wouldn't be surprised. They're just waiting until they can get one more. I think it's the leader who had... Oh no, they don't have it.
Oh, it is Leader. Leader just used it.
Okay. Yeah. I looked down at the thing, you know, to see the trinkets, and it wasn't there. And I'm like, does he not have it? Oh no.
Okay, Acadian. Okay.
I respect the attempt. I respect the attempt.
I don't.
Look, this is how you know you've never played APs in Joust support. Because back in the day, you just go that, you run at turrets, and you just take them.
Ooh,
That's how it used to be.
I'm very glad I have never played APs in Joust support, but right now it's still a huge gold lead going over to Dignitas. The shutdown helped out quite a bit in their ability to play around leader.
I want to look at leader's inventory. See, he's able to get the Everfrost, so we're not getting that crown like we did in the last game. More to help out the rest of the team, and I do prefer that.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a lot more control against all the melee champions, and leader, you know, this is the classic build that you tend to go on the Silas. He's very familiar with how you can play around this in different situations. But Dignitas, they're rotating a little bit better. They've caught out Golden Guardians trying to make these plays. While the Cannon Barrage is used, Dignitas will still have the cannon the cannon minion at the end of this. This entire turret getting traded for what was 4 plates in the middle.
4 plates in the mid lane, and unless somehow leader can get on top of that turret, it is a sneeze away. Maybe even Acadian. He can just brute force it down. Say, all right, we're getting this bad boy, and yet there they are. They're brute forcing it. Jump, pillar, take the turret. Thank you. Now get the kill. That's what you need to do to make sure that you can kill Insanity.
And that's 2 plays coming through, right? Acadian not taking half measures today, just looking to be very aggressive. But Hoon, he can actually make this play happen. He's got Exu on the backside.
XU is there. Array has been getting a lot of gold all this while. He's able to get a lot of the plates in the bot lane, as you had mentioned before. And now he's getting a little bit more reinforcements. Here comes the Goon Squad. Looking to see if they can barrel down onto this turret. But since they had already recalled Neo so far away, instead it will just be looking for the turret with the TP coming in behind. This is going to be a full-on fight. There's Hoon, but he's not Mega, so they turn on top of him. They've got the Gnarl, they soul away for leader, and now they've got the damage with Ignite picking up the kill on Hoon, so it's a 1-for-1 trade at the moment with a lot of damage on top of Acadian. He'll be the next casualty, while Ray, leader, they're the ones running away. They're trying to survive, and Ray, he's out on an island, so he has to fully de-escalate the situation.
Is that the 3rd time that we've seen this exact play where Golden Guardians try and be very aggressive and get punished, trying to do everything, and Dignitas, they're just responding to what Golden Guardians do. But Alex, this is going to sound weird. I like the evolution of Golden Guardians that we've already seen, right? The plays aren't working.
I was saying that too. You were the non-believer.
No, okay, look, Acadian dying in the mid lane, that is not a play.
Non-believer.
That's not a play. That's just dying.
Shun the non-believer.
Golden Guardians were a team that weren't making plays the entire season so far. Now they're going for things. They're still in the limit testing phase of trying to make everything work, and it's putting Acadian really far behind in terms of his ability to farm. But this is step one. This is step one in learning how to play with the team. They still haven't gotten a lot of scrims together just quite yet, and you know, Leader's had some good moments and some not good moments, but this is still way better than the Golden Guardians that we were seeing from most of summer.
But we do have to kind of temper all those things we were talking about, the nice plays. Try to be proactive, because now they find themselves quite in the hole against Dignitas. 2 turrets taken on each of the side lanes. Despite the fact that you have 2 turrets that are low on each of the side lanes for Dignitas as well, they haven't collapsed yet. So they have this momentary buff that they are stronger than Golden Guardians so long as they're able to group together, especially when you look at XU and the size of the lead he has over Acadian.
Yeah. But this is also when Golden Guardians are supposed to come into their own in terms of players, right? This is when Leader is at his most comfortable when the side laning starts to begin. He's got 2 kills, he's got 3 assists. It's not as though he's particularly weak. This is when we are going to be really zeroing in on Leader as to see what he can do as Prismal.
He was looking to see if he could get in range for that for the depth charge on top of Neo. That would have been their time to strike. Especially because there were some resets from Dignitas.
Yeah.
Insanity had gone back, but yes, TP. So now,
and he's here.
Why is the Rift Herald there?
I don't know. Don't question it. I thought I was a non-believer.
Okay, well now we gotta start believing in Dignitas, because they got a lot of damage on the Leader, but he's still alive on the other side. He's able to heal up just a bit. Golden Guardians looking for their opportunity to re-engage, but they've got to worry about XU in the backline. He's got a lot of damage on to Prismal. Does have the Heartbreaker away, so he can't get the reset. But the flash coming in from Neo. Make sure they get 1 kill in return, and then can turn towards the Dragon.
Yeah, XU doing a good job catching out Prismal, forcing him to leave the fight, and Dignitas finding another dragon for themselves. That's 3 in a row. And it feels as though Dignitas, as we should probably expect, are a bit more coordinated than Golden Guardians at this point, right? 4 of these members have been playing together, and if we're already establishing Neo as this very consistent player who walks around and does his job, that's going to be very easy for Dignitas to try and play around. You know what he's going to do, whereas Leader, much more of a wild card that Golden Guardians is trying to adapt to, integrate him as a potential leader to the team. So Dignitas, I'm not surprised that they're coming out to this kind of advantage.
Getting them quite the standing record as well. We already see that they are, I think, solidly in 5th place, right behind Cloud9. But obviously, they'd like to see if they can overcome that, especially when we look towards Proving Grounds. The seeding, how important that can be, but also looking to see if they can possibly rival and take the entirety of Proving Grounds for themselves.
We'll see if that's possible. Nice!
Ooh, Insanity, nicely done. The flash
Let's
as well.
go.
The fear to make sure they can re-engage. Insanity, he always lives up to his name. Where's the Shadow Surge to be able to get into the background? There it is! He takes down Acadian, the re-engage fight. They've already tagged him with an ult. Reset City, double kill, and now he's going for more. Prismal trying to Spider-Man out, flashing as well, but the damage from Insanity, even with the Zap to try to disengage, they are looking to hunt them down. They'll let them finally escape, but man, Insanity is off to the races.
Yo, that is not what I was expecting. Insanity having a huge fight coming through with a great stopwatch, waiting out the Jinx traps. Insanity team fighting so well and kind of showcasing again, Leader, here's another fruit basket, because this is just well done. He dodges the pillar, he dodges the Gnar ult, and then from there, he's so patient with the way that he looks to play, right? He lands the ultimate, he sees the Jinx traps, doesn't want to get caught in them, and just waits for his cooldowns to come back up before rejoining. He instantly sees Leader has nowhere to dodge, waits for him to use the dash so that he can get the instant fear, and the patience coming through. The fact that Insanity is showcasing that he is constantly thinking he's not on autopilot during these fights, it gives me so much hope for where he can go next.
As now we shift our attention to
right.
the bot lane, Hoon. I appreciate the aggression. I appreciate the attempt, but you just gave free gold to Array. Now, this is going to be the contingency plan for Golden Guardians. We haven't really been able to talk much about Array during this game because he hasn't really been a part of many of these fights. He's now 2-0-3 on this hyper-scaling champion. He's got 2 items completed. is this what the backup plan for Golden Guardians is? Just team fight around Array?
It might be, right? XU? Ooh, not catching out leader well enough, but as you've been pointing out, right, Array suddenly has a lot of money. He's been sitting in the side lanes, he's farming well, but he's going to be in a position where he needs space, right? And I don't know if there's enough space that Golden Guardians can provide, because Insanity has been doing such a good job at playing around his ultimate. He's consistently getting into the backline, consistently getting multi-man fears, and while the cleanse is there from Array, I think there's enough follow-up damage on the rest of Dignitas to take him down, so Array needs to have a Herculean performance.
Well, especially because it's in his first Academy split he's playing. He's going up against someone who has had a tenured career in Academy, playing in the LCS for the past 2 years as well. And now, with this pick onto leader coming in from Insanity, he goes Golden to survive with the TV coming a little bit late. They already got the kill onto leader, and they got the damage onto Prismal.
Hello.
Who's here? Nobody escapes from me! Not even you, Array! Triple kill for Insanity!
And Insanity once again just catching out leader. Insanity showing up yet again in another fight. Dignitas is looking so good. We were looking at their ability to team fight earlier. We said that this standard way of playing was probably going to look good, and Dignitas, they are making it look easy at this point, Alex.
I mean, it was chaotic at the beginning, so I don't know how easy I would say, but once they got everything together, all the eggs lined up in a row, that's when they started popping off, and a lot of that we have to continue to praise Insanity for.
Yeah, I just love the patience, right? Not throwing out one of his skill shots, waiting for leader to come in range before getting the guaranteed fear. He's not taking chances, right? He's not giving his opponents opportunities to outplay him by dodging the skill shots. And that is the mark of a player who is going to improve very, very quickly. They are taking everything that is free, and they are taking it. And now we'll look for him to take things that aren't free. Can he continue making plays? What can he do around this last dragon? Because if they get the Ocean Soul, there's no way Array can outdamage it.
And Insanity has done what I asked for. He's built up that book. Magi's at 10 stacks only because he just recently bought it. Now with everyone grouped up, this could be actually a good play from Golden Guardians if they could have had it go faster. Unfortunately, there's a collapse from Dignitas, and this is where they're hitting him with the wallet. Here comes Insanity. He'll die and give up some shutdown gold and lose a lot of the chapters, but the team ultimately wins.
Okay, Insanity, we said Array needed to play well in order to keep himself away from Insanity, but Insanity finds him. He finds concept first, he finds Array second, and blowing him up, Array was deathless just a couple of team fights ago, but that is twice now that Insanity has found his way there.
Literally
both
two
deaths.
Yeah.
And now with the Ocean Soul, Dignitas, I almost feel like they can't lose, right? Like, they are so far ahead in gold. They are so difficult. Getting that first kill is not going to happen for a long time. You always need that burst onto a single target. And when you have a gangplank on your team, you're looking for these barrels. You're looking to blow up a single person, but it's not there. And you see Insanity never giving Concept an opportunity to survive this fight. And then the second Shadow Surge, he sees Array, and he's waiting for his abilities to come back up. Even with the flash, even with the cleanse, Array doesn't have enough in the tank.
No, they just don't have enough ability to peel back for Array, especially when you have to worry about quite the Fed Vex. 10 kills to his name. Insanity.
Back up to 10 stacks.
Yeah, he's, having died, is still at 10 stacks.
So here's Hoon on the back line.
And here's Insanity, that damage on a Prismal. They've got Hoon the kill instead of giving it over to Insanity, but it's also they can win the fight. Also they can continue these resets out of Insanity. He's huge on Vex. He's got another double. Does he go for another reset with the triple kill? He follows up Acadian, and they'll just take the ace cleanly over Golden Guardians Academy.
David, brother, you're so hot right now. It is absolutely insane. This might be the best performance we've seen from Insanity this entire summer. Taking total control, seeing a new mid laner saying, leader who? What are we going to do about this? Nah, Dignitas maintaining their spot in the top half of the standings.
It's even better,
and it
Josh.
was not close.
It's even better. He said, how dare you try to ego against me? I will pick this counter. I will destroy you. I will destroy your entire team. 12 kills to his name. What the performance.
Yeah, 12 kills, 12 assists, I believe was the last number. Maybe 13 at the very end. But it is absolutely ridiculous coming through from Insanity. I have never seen him, not never. It has been a long time since I've seen him play this well. This is a statement game from Insanity. And if this is the trend, if this is where Insanity is going to go, this guy is also trying to make an argument that he's going to be your most valuable prospect.
I mean, he really is starting to climb up those. And usually when we look at the most valuable prospects, we try to look more at the younger talent, like players who haven't been in the scene before. But like with Dokla before, we sometimes just have to focus on these players who've already had a chance in the past because they're improving so much. They're looking way better than they ever did when they had their previous shot.
Yeah, something very clearly clicked for Insanity this game, and if that is an isolated incident, great, they find themselves a win. If it's not, if that's something where Insanity is going to continue having this click, continuing to go off, I mean, Dignitas, they can make a run. They're currently our 5th place team, but they want to try and move up even further.
Of course, you always want to try to move up the standings as much as possible. I'm just checking the record. So they're a single game behind that of CLG Academy. So they are starting to knock at the door of the top 4. For now, we're going to toss it to a break. When we come back, we'll have our halftime show with Mazel. Make sure you stay tuned.